I can understand German, but I can't speak it. Help. I think this is the most mentioned comment in my channel. So today we're gonna do just that. First, I'm going to share with you why speaking is absolutely harder than understanding. Then I'm gonna share tips what you can do about it. If you're new here in my channel, my name is Francis and I've been studying German for like 6 years on and off. And here in my channel, I share tips, advice, resources to help you with learning German. And I also share here my language learning journey. First, let's talk about why speaking is harder than understanding. First, the process of language production, which is speaking in this case, is complex and time-consuming. When you're speaking, you have to come up with the idea, then you have to create the structure around it, and that's basically organizing the sentence structure, and then you have to find the right words that would go with your idea, and this involves just recall and selecting the correct words, and then you have to recall how the words sound, pronunciation basically, and then your brain has to coordinate with your mouth, tongue, and vocal cords in order to produce your speech. At first, it is slow because your brain is trying to form new pathways, but eventually, with enough practice and the process is already well established, it eventually becomes automatic. So the process of understanding is generally more straightforward and simpler, mainly because you just have to recognize how the things sound and then interpret it by remembering some of the words that you already know. A good way to kind of like compare how difficult speaking is with understanding is by, I call this like a house analogy. So basically think of speaking as if you're gonna be the one making a house, whereas with understanding, all you have to do is look into a house, like observing it. Making your own house is difficult because first you have to plan the layout of the house, like form the structure of the house, gather the materials, and then actually assemble this, and that would take time. In addition, you have to know how to use the tools to make the house. With understanding, it's just like you're visiting a house. You're just looking at it, observing it, looking how the furniture is, looking at the layout, appreciating it. Basically, that's it. It would really take time to build a house, whereas it won't take you more than a day. You're just gonna go look or visit a house. So the next reason is that there's just more exposure to passive skills, meaning listening and reading. This is especially true for all learners in the early stages of our learning. We're just given more opportunities to practice reading and listening, and that helps us really become more familiar with that language, but through that skills. However, practicing speaking really comes later, so I guess it's just a natural thing that happens when you're starting to learn a language. And the third and final reason why speaking is harder than understanding is that some people may have confidence issues, and this can really inhibit practice, especially if one has anxiety and they're thinking that their grammar is incorrect, or they don't know the right words, or they think that their accent does not sound good. Thinking about those things can really inhibit speaking practice, especially if you're talking to a native speaker. On the other hand, understanding really comes off less intimidating because all you have to do is comprehend what's happening around you. Now that we've explored reasons why speaking is more challenging than understanding, you might be wondering how you can improve your speaking skills. Let's dive into some practical tips and advice that could possibly help you become more confident with your German speaking skills. Now, before I dive into that, just a quick disclaimer, just letting you know that some things that might have worked for me may or may not work for you, and that's absolutely fine. Know that all of us have different learning styles, but there's no harm in trying, and in that way, you can also learn what would work and not work for you. I'm going to start with the most foolproof way of actually improving your German speaking skills, which is actually to start speaking more by giving yourself more opportunities to do so. My favorite way of practicing speaking is basically attending online classes. And speaking of online classes, I would like to thank my friends from Lingoda for sponsoring this video, because honestly, they've helped me a lot when I was making that crawl from A1 to B2, and they really challenged me during my B2 exam preparation. Despite my busy schedule when I was studying for my doctorate before, and then now that I'm still working as a physical therapist, I'm always sure that there's an online class that's waiting for me at the end of the day, because they have classes available 24/7 wherever you are in the world. All I needed to do is schedule the class and take it. Like, even though I would have problems being consistent with answering my textbooks every day, that speaking practice on my to-do list would always be ticked off because it's already scheduled and I just have to attend the class. Honestly, I feel like whenever I'm having trouble with consistency and I don't have a good routine with studying German, I would just always go to Lingoda and book classes, because once I start having online classes, it helps build up that momentum and I would really feel motivated to keep on studying German. I feel like I really get motivated and get a lot of opportunity to practice my speaking, because each class is only composed of like 5 students if you would like to opt for a group class. And for private class, of course, that's one-on-one. I have tried that too before. When I was in around A1, A2, I feel like I was really intimidated at that point, because I tried a group class then, and then I feel like some of the learners were a little bit more ahead than me, or I guess they started way early with their language learning journey, and so I kind of admire their pronunciation, but I really feel intimidated by that. So I switched to private classes, and that was really good because the teacher was able to focus and really target a lot on my pronunciation and ask me a lot of questions. And then eventually that helped me become more confident that even though I was making mistakes, I don't care at all. On the other hand, I also enjoy doing group classes because I can get to know other learners, but this came when I felt more confident with my speaking and pronunciation skills. And so sometimes these group classes will be converted into sort of like private class when I'm the only student taking that time slot. I remember I have this like classmate in Mexico, because we would always take the same slot, and that's nice because we always have like interaction with each other, and at the same time the teachers ask us like our motivation on studying German. So it's just nice to get to know another person who's just in the same journey as you are. So each class takes around an hour, and I feel that it's more than enough for everybody to have equal opportunity to speak. And they provide not only the class, they also provide the resources that can help improve your grammar, reading comprehension, and vocabulary. And honestly speaking, I did not buy any textbooks when I was on that crawl from A1 to B1. I just purely use the resources. All Lingoda teachers are native speakers, and they can provide you with corrections on your pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. And what I really like about teachers in Lingoda is that at the end of each class, they will provide you with like a personalized feedback, which contains your strengths, what you need to work on, how you performed in class, which I absolutely really find motivating. If you're just starting to work on your speaking, understand that it will take you probably even more than 1 minute when you form your sentences, and that's absolutely fine. It's normal. Just try to spit the words out. Actually, my teachers from Lingoda never complained when it takes me like more than 3 minutes to form my sentences, or even an eternity, especially when I form sentences with Nebensatz on them, like where the verb goes at the end. Like, that makes me really confused. But I can suggest that you take a video of yourself, or like record yourself each time you have like classes, or each time you practice speaking. That way you can really keep track on your progress, which can really be motivational. I think I've taken a total of 271 classes, and that's since 2017. So I've definitely seen and witnessed how Lingoda has evolved throughout the years. Aside from their resources, they now have vocabulary trainer, chapter flashcards, quizzes, achievement badges, and different type of courses. And I can say that I'm really proud of their growth. I think my learning style, at least in speaking, is sink or swim. Like, throw me in the ocean, just get me in a class and I'll just start speaking. If you're interested in improving your German speaking skills and be more confident with it, sign up with Lingoda. You can find the link in my description box below. Thanks again, Lingoda, for sponsoring this video. Aside from taking classes, I can suggest you to start speaking to yourself in German. And I recommend that you do this in front of the mirror. That's because it can help you get used to that awkwardness of making mistakes and seeing yourself struggle as you form your sentence. I know it sounds ridiculous, but the earlier you accept the discomfort, the faster it is that you do something about it. Once you're comfortable seeing how ridiculous you are and accept that speaking actually takes time and practice, you'll just start to focus on doing the work, which is the speaking practice itself. I still talk to myself in German, and I do this when I brush my teeth, when I do my skincare, or just whenever I need to use the bathroom. I actually talk to myself throughout the day in German. If you feel like giving a monologue is a little bit too restricting, you might need to try this challenge. And for me, this is actually real hard, and I've been trying to do this every day now. Try to listen to a German podcast or German video on YouTube, and then after doing that or listening to it, try to summarize or give your opinions about the topic that was discussed. And it is going to be a challenge. You can just start to listen to like the first 3 minutes of it and then try to paraphrase it in your own words. You can repeat whatever you've listened to or watched and then try to paraphrase it again. This is good because by doing this, you can also pick up new vocabulary words. It kind of mimics like how you're speaking or if you're talking to somebody, because you have to react to the ideas that's presented to you. In addition, I've mentioned this in my previous videos before, speaking can actually help listening. So by doing that, you're already hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. You can also try to record yourself whenever you're speaking in German and review them. It doesn't have to be like a video, it could just be like audio. And it's just good because by listening to it, you get to have an idea how you pattern your words and areas you need to work on. And I think that's the main reason why I'm doing my German vlogs, mainly because whenever I edit the videos, it helps me take note of which areas I need to work on. You also have to have an idea how much improvement or progress you've made, which can really be motivating. And I think I've made a video like that here in my channel. Another good tip is write daily. Like if you want to do it in a journal or you want to write about a topic, that would be great practice. Because writing is like a slowed down version of speaking. You generally have more time to compose your thoughts and to know the correct sentence structure, and eventually it can help carry over whenever you're speaking. In addition, writing down your thoughts, even in another language, can help lessen down the stress, especially with language learning. So it's a win-win. Another great tip is called shadowing. This is the process wherein you repeat phrases or sentences that you've heard from, like, say, a movie or series or podcast. I actually didn't know I was actually doing this, and I was able to learn go-to phrases that I can use on my daily life. Another great tip that you can try is that whenever you're reviewing your vocabulary words, try to think and speak out your own sentence using the word. This helps with better word retrieval as you're making associations in context. Listen to German music. Aside from the fact that you can appreciate music from another culture, you can also get to practice your pronunciation when you sing along with it eventually, and you can get to pick up phrases that you can use in your daily life. I'm also linking a Spotify playlist that a teacher from Lingoda has recommended me because I've always complained before that I am not finding good German music. I've linked that down in the description box. I hope you guys check it out. Reading out loud is another good way to improve on your pronunciation and getting yourself more familiar with the sentence structure. I feel like I need to do this more because I know my pronunciation is not the best and my umlauts are not umlauting. I've also gathered some motivational advice because I understand that part of it could also be more of like mental, and I want to help you all with that because I've been there and I still am there. Sometimes we need to be reminded that learning a language on its own is already an achievement because not a lot of people choose to learn another language. I want you to know that you're not alone in this journey in learning German. I actually made this channel because I was the one that's feeling alone in this journey. A lot of people say that it's gonna take a lifetime to learn the language, and I've already accepted that. But it just feels comforting that someone is having the same struggles as I am, and I actually feel motivated to work on that. So I hope you do feel the same. I feel like I need to remind y'all that we all have to be patient in this journey. There are days that I feel like my speaking skills are like top-notch, amazing. And then there would be days that it's not going well at all. Like I can't even keep track of my sentence structure, and that's fine because again, the brain's just really taking its time to form these new pathways to get used to the process of language production. So we just have to be patient and just really trust the process. It's not going to be easy. Never forget to celebrate small wins, like whether it be you remember the word with less time, you were able to speak with a little bit faster speed, or you're able to use more words, or your sentence structure is correct. We're gonna need all that good vibes that we can have that can help motivate us in speaking more. We'll use every reason to keep going. I mean, your brain actually worked hard for those new pathways. Please note that making mistakes and grammatical errors is absolutely normal. We'll improve on them as we get more feedback. Like, even if you make mistakes, you're still gaining better control on your pronunciation, sentence structure, and word retrieval, which can help you make better sentences. And if you're thinking that other people would judge you because of your grammar, just know that people don't think about other people's mistakes at the end of the day. And what matters most is that you speak. I think in the beginning, it's important to just focus on that, on letting the words out. Just push them out. Avoid comparing your journey with other people because that will just fuel your thinking that you are incapable. You're beyond capable. Just trust your brain on the process that it's doing. It really is a lot of trusting the process and a lot of doing the work. Any person who's making mistakes or having a hard time learning a new language is a master of another. So definitely there is no reason that you cannot do this. It's just really gonna take time and hard work. Look for motivation, be it like memes in movies or quotes in Instagram. Just keep looking for it. Just exposing yourself to a lot of motivational sources will help you keep going. My favorite type of motivation is looking for German memes, mainly because I just really need good laugh whenever I'm stressed from studying, and it helps me cope on the reality of how difficult language learning is. I'm gonna share with y'all my favorite German meme, which I think is appropriate for this video. If you find this video helpful or at least comforting for some, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. And on the comment section down below, please share what do you think is the reason why you're having trouble with speaking in German, and what do you plan to do about it? Because we need to take action. By the way, I would like to thank my sister's best friend, who I also think is already my sister, Zarina, who's a speech pathologist, who helped me break down the process of language production and why it's making us all frustrated. So thanks, Zar. At the end of it all, I would like to say that really starting to speak more is hard, but know that it is not impossible. It just requires a lot of work, a lot of exposure, and not giving up. I hope you find some motivation here in my channel, and know that you're not alone in improving your language skills. I also need to improve on it. Anyway, I think we have a lot of work to do and we need to practice our speaking skills. So I'll see you guys next time. Tschüss!